Welcome to the ITM Voices of NET patient video series. Neuroendocrine tumor, or NET, is a rare form of cancer that can occur in several different parts of your body. Learn more through Gary's story.
My name is Gary, the head baseball coach. We were 2016 national champions in Division I baseball. I live in Pawleys Island, South Carolina, and since January of 2020, I was diagnosed with neuroendocrine pancreatic cancer. I had not been feeling well compared to normal, and one Sunday night in January, had this terrific pain in my side, and it was right when COVID had just began, and was afraid kind of to go to the hospital because of all the things that were going on. And so I did what I think most people do now. I self-diagnosed myself on the internet, Googled my symptoms, and determined to myself that I had a kidney stone. So the urologist that I go to here locally, I had his cell number, so I just called him. He told me, he said, I think that's probably a good guess. He said, if you can withstand the pain all night, he said, I'll see you at 7:30 in the morning before any patients arrive, and let's see where that thing is. And so he sent me to the hospital to get a CT scan. And lo and behold, make a long story short, about 3 hours later after the scan and some 2 hours of intense waiting in his office wondering what was going on, he walks in and tells me that the kidney stone is ready to pass into my bladder, but that they found something else about the size of my hand that had grown off the end of my pancreas. I did the typical biopsy, and they determined I had liver cancer. But yet the pathologist could not completely pinpoint that it was 100% exactly liver cancer. It took them 2 goes to figure it out. The first time around, we did a biopsy again, and they could not pinpoint what it was. So I ended up having to go back and do a more extensive biopsy a third time, along with a biopsy of my liver as well, besides the pancreas, before they were able to ultimately pinpoint it as pancreatic neuroendocrine cancer. I'll be honest, it's probably one of the times I leaned the very hardest on my faith in my life. It's easy to go, why me and woe is me and all that. And I chose a different path. I made up my mind because my wife was sitting out in that waiting room, and I knew she couldn't handle it if there was anything other than a smile on my face. And I made my mind up. I said, you give me a couple minutes here. I said, I got to get on my good positivity face here. I said, I'm not going to let this beat her down, because it will crush her. And so, when she came in the room, we had our little conversation, and, we both cried for a minute. But I said, at the end of the day, this is going to be a positive thing, that this is going to be fine. And, I met with my administration here. I met my coaches, I met my players, and I told them, I said, I don't know what tomorrow brings, but, I am not going to, I'm not going to let this thing beat me. I feel like my life is a selfless life. I don't care about, that this is humbling to do this right here for me, to be very honest with you, to have a chance to do something like this. But outside of that, my life is a relentless life. I go after everything in life at 1,000,000 miles an hour. And I think that's how God wired me to be. And whether it's volunteering my time, whether it's helping a kid, whether it's coaching, or whether it's whatever, I want to be the best at it that I can humanly possibly be. And that's what I try to portray to my players every single day. It's such a unique disease that I have. pancreatic neuroendocrine cancer, that it's very difficult to find up-to-date information and what's going on, what are the new treatments, what are the new research, because I mean, again, I want to live as long as the good Lord's going to allow me to live here. If that means part of this journey is me seeking out new treatments, doing this, doing that, because there are a lot of people like me out there that need this, that crave this knowledge. And my advice to anyone that has PNETs cancer is to have a great attitude, take care of yourself, seek out any and all help, get to the best care that you can find, because it is such a unique cancer challenge.
We thank Gary for empowering others through his story. Here are some important points to remember. When you first receive the NET diagnosis, there can be fear and uncertainty. Newly diagnosed patients often struggle to find clear, reliable information about diagnosis and treatment. Some patients turn to their faith and patient groups when faced with a NET diagnosis. It is important to advocate for yourself, especially when you aren't getting the answers you need. For more patient stories, tools, and resources, visit voicesofnet.com. This video is sponsored by ITM.